Hey everyone, this week we will be going over a pitching statistic, and it is called fielding independent pitching, and it essentially estimates a pitcher's run prevention on the outcomes he really can control, which are walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Now, he may have not a lot of control over giving up home runs, but generally the term is, when you give up a really long and hard hit ball, that will generally result in a home run, and that was, poor location, things like that. But FIP allows us to see how good a pitcher is in things that he has the most control over. Like I said, walks, hit by pitches, and strikeouts, um, as well as home runs. So it was actually developed by Voros McCracken, and I highly recommend looking him up. Because he kind of got into these defense independent pitching statistics. So FIP is a very useful way to kind of measure on a different scale compared to ERA, because ERA kind of takes more into the defense side of giving up runs, because once the ball is in play and it's not a home run, it's really out of the pitcher's control. So that is more based on luck, based on that. So I think FIP is great because it allows us to see what a pitcher can really control. So the formula's right here. FIP equals 13 times home runs plus 3 times walks plus hit by pitches minus 2 times strikeouts divided by innings pitched plus a FIP constant. I will have a FIP constant for you at the college level. I've calculated that from 2013 to 2019. And I will also have a sample pitcher CSV file for you that contains 500 pitchers that threw at least 25 innings and had an ERA below 9. So we'll get right into it. So we will begin by loading in our library tidyverse, and those contain the packages such as dplyr and ggplot, which will be the two that we'll be using in this video. So go ahead and load that in your library by just calling library tidyverse. Next, we will load in the CSV files that I will give you in my GitHub page. Like as any other time, like the last 2 weeks, I will have a link to my GitHub in the description, as well as a link on the tweet afterwards of whenever I tweet it out, or on my LinkedIn. So feel free to look those up as well, so you can see the GitHub page so you can get these CSV files. So we'll say pitching equals read CSV sample underscore pitchers.csv. Again, it will be on my GitHub. And then strings as factors equals false. I don't have R4O yet. And then FIP guts, which is essentially just FIP constants. Read CSV FIP underscore constants dot CSV. Strings as factors equals false. So this pitching data set, I will let you look into it, is a random 500 sample of pitchers who threw at least 25 innings and had an ERA below 9. So you can kind of see that. So we can see like a .56 ERA from Matt Seda in 2015 with Davidson as one of the lowest. And then it's the highest. Again, there's a couple 9s up here. Tanner Edge is one of them with an ERA of 9. So we can definitely go into that and go from there. So here we go. Pitching. We want to join the FIP guts, which here's the FIP constants for every year. 365, 352, 373, 382, 386, 384, 395 from 2013 to 2019. So we want to get that constant into our data set. So a simple way to do that is through the dplyr package left join. And that's also a SQL function. And what we'll say is left join our X data set, which is pitching, and then our Y data set, which is FIP guts, and then we'll say by combine year. So that allows us to see both the FIP constant in years. So you can see now the FIP constant is in our data set. So really fun stuff. Now let's go into immediately, just right into calculating that FIP, because one way we can see kind of how different ERA and FIP is by calculating FIP and measuring a difference. So first we will say pitching equals pitching piping operator mutate. Before I continue, let's make this argument. So for some pitchers, you can see they throw 0.1 or 0.2, so a third of an inning or 2/3 of an inning. And what we need to do is convert that, because if we divide by 47.1, that's not going to be the accurate FIP for a given player. So what we need to do is convert our outs and convert our innings pitched outs, so that way we get a total amount of outs made. So really, he threw whatever 47 times 3 is plus one more out. So we need to convert that into outs. That way we can accurately get it. And go back into our data set and we'll say mutate. And then we'll say additional outs, which essentially you'll see in a second. So I'll do double parentheses innings pitched and then kind of these 2% signs, which essentially means like a modulo. And what that does is takes the decimal point at the end and just leaves it as its own number. And then we multiply that by 10 to get the number of outs. So really this is taking that, for that first example, 47.1, it's taking that 0.1 and then we multiply that by 10. So we have one additional out. So now we can go into innings pitched outs, which then how we do that is do a double parentheses again, and we'll call a function called floor. And what floor does, it rounds down everything. So if it's 0.1, 0.2, it rounds down. Where, yes, we'll have those two missing outs, but those additional outs will allow us to recalculate that and have that correct amount of innings pitched out. So we'll say floor innings pitched times 3, and then we'll say plus the additional outs. So that way we have that data available as well. So, continuing on. We will enter into our FIP calculation. So I will just copy and paste. I don't want to write out all these parentheses, plus you probably don't want to see it either. And then we'll remove certain columns just so we can see it a little bit better. So we will do that. Which is great. So I'll just break this down real quick. 13 times home runs allowed, that's what the column name is in our data set. So we go to HRA, home runs allowed, and then 3 times walks allowed, or BBA, BBs allowed. Next, we will go to plus hit batters, which is hit by pitches, and it is right here, hit batters. And then minus 2 times SO, which is strikeouts. And that's what it's listed in the data frame as strikeouts. So fun stuff. And then we divide by that innings pitch outs that we created, and then divide that by 3 to get an accurate. So now, instead of it saying in the first example where I showed you earlier, instead of it saying 47.1 innings pitch, it will say 47.333, which is 1/3. And that will accurately get our FIP score. And then you add that FIP constant that we joined in our data frame. And then I just removed 3 random columns. That way we can have 50 variables, so you don't have to see 2 different pages. But we can run all of this. Now we can go into our data set. There's 50 columns. And we can see FIP all listed in all its glory. So go into our other data set, or let's make sure we round our FIP. So FIP pitching, that $sign referring to what column you want to refer to. FIP, and then we say equals round, and then again pitching dot FIP 2. Now you could put this in within the mutate function to call a round function. There's just a ton of parentheses there, so I didn't want to get in a situation where I'd mess that up. So I just did that on the next line. So pitching FIP equals round, pitching FIP 2. Now let's kind of create a bit of a mini query, and then we will be able to plot it. So what we'll do is we'll say pitching piping operator filter IP outs is greater than or equal to 75, which is 25 innings. And then game started is greater than 0, so at least one game started. And then we'll say select year, player, school, ERA, FIP. Then we will arrange FIP. So it's from lowest FIP to highest FIP. And then we'll say, actually, we'll create a mutate function, and we'll say mutate diff equals ERA minus FIP to determine who was unlucky, who was lucky, things along those nature. And then we can do this a bunch of different ways, but what I'll do is slice. And so essentially we'll say we'll slice 1 to 10. We'll take the first 10 rows, and we can kind of see what that looks like here right now. So based on this data, based on the lowest FIP, we have Jordan Stevens from Rice in 2015, Reese Careless from Santa Clara in 2015, Matt Quintana also 2015. So a lot of 2013 to 2016 in terms of FIP, which kind of makes sense because the FIP constant's a little bit lower that year or in those years compared to recent years. But then you can also kind of see some differences. So Dodgers pitcher Brock Stewart is on here. But you can kind of see, so if it's positive, that means that the pitcher was unlucky in his ERA compared to FIP. So Jordan Stevens was unlucky, Careless unlucky, Matt Quintana with Siena was actually lucky. He had a 1.51 ERA but a 2.66 FIP. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that he should have a 2.66 ERA, but based on the things he had the most control over, his FIP was 2.66, which suggests that his ERA should lean close to that. And then Jay Flaw with North Dakota State, wow, a 6.58 ERA with a 2.67 FIP, so he was very unlucky that year. And then you can kind of go down the line. But now what we'll do is we will do a GG plot and create a mini little plot, kind of visualize this. So I'll say GG plot, aesthetic, which is AES, X equals ERA, Y equals FIP, and then we'll say color equals, we'll say school in this case. This time we'll use a plus instead of a piping operator because we're within the ggplot code now. And we'll say geom point. We just want points. And then we'll say geom text, AES again, label equals player. And then we'll say vjust, which is just a vertical adjustment -1. So that means we'll move the text 1 point above where the data point lies. So I'll show you what this looks like here. So you can kind of see, based on ERA and FIP, they should be pretty close aligned. So Brock Stewart's pretty close to the line here. Reese Careless up there, or Reese Careless down here, sorry. Things along those lines. And then the guys, Keaton Steele even, he was pretty close in both metrics. But then guys like Jay Flaw, once you zoom in, you'll be able to see the entire plot. But guys like Jay Flaw, really unlucky with his ERA compared to FIP. So he might not have had the best defense behind him, but based upon what he can control. He was actually a pretty good pitcher. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope you learned something about FIP. Feel free to calculate that for any school. On a previous video of getting that D1 baseball data, go ahead and check that out. If you want to kind of get more FIP and more into FIP, as well as learning more about this. So I think it's a great statistic. It measures what a pitcher can really control compared to ERA. And I really hope you like this video. So like and subscribe if you did, and tune in next week. We'll go over more pitching data and in the college baseball realm. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.